Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to today's pick a card reading. This is not a hallucination. I am posting and I am back, and I hope to be back a lot more frequently. I am back to full health, and I want to thank you all for whoever has stuck around throughout the years as well, not just now. I want to thank you for sticking around, for being here. It is an honor to be able to do this, to be able to read for you. It has also taught me so much, and I feel like this is a good milestone / checkpoint, this random day in July. It's also my birthday month. I mean, my birthday has passed, but around this time I always get a bit philosophical, a bit, I just think about everything, and I have had the chance to think about the channel while I was gone, and I truly feel like myself when I read, even if YouTube is not my favorite place to be, and there's always some weird people lurking in my comments, but you know what? I've also learned from those people that you can't care what everyone thinks, But anyway, I guess I just wanted to say I'm very grateful to be here and to be able to do this. So thank you for making this possible for me. I'm gonna get emotional. Okay, let me get myself together. But yeah, I feel very grateful for the little community we've built, and to the friends that I've made over the years as well. You know who you are. But anyway, so today's reading, we are looking at how the person on your mind truly feels about you and everything that has happened. I have filmed everything except the extended for group 3, and I will be doing that after I do this, but for quicker editing, I am filming the intro now. There will also be an extended, like I said. You can find the link for that down below and a description for that down below as well. And personal readings are also available now. I will also make a separate post in case some of you don't watch the intro, which is okay. Sometimes I don't either if I watch a tarot reading. Let's be honest. So anyway, I will stop rambling now, and I will leave you to focus on which deck calls to you the most, and I will see you soon. Hello, my beautiful pile ones, and welcome to your reading. We are looking at how the person on your mind is currently feeling about you and everything that has or hasn't happened in this connection. And we will start with these oracle cards first to do a little energy check, so you can decide if this group is for you or if you want to choose another one. And there will also be an extended after we get into their feelings, but we will talk about that later on. So let's get into this. We are starting off with the conjunction card, and I will already say this is the last card in this deck, and it represents union, love, divine union. And it has this kind of sun and moon, yin and yang type of tinge to it. It's a very beautiful energy, but it's one that comes from conscious action, conscious activation. It's not without awareness. So for a lot of you, I think this is going to be someone that you are very aware of, and you will be aware of their particular influence on you and vice versa. And I think the history here runs deep in the sense that your paths feel like they've been aligned for maybe even longer than you may have physically experienced. It's kind of an energy of, everything that has happened in our individual lives have brought us together. And in the end, that is true for everything. Everything that has happened in the past has brought us to this exact point. But there is just this emphasis on that in this energy. And maybe the emphasis is more so because this is pleasant. This is not something either person here regrets. This is not something either person dislikes, even if it has been difficult, even if it has been challenging, because it feels like you've been through a lot with this person. And I'm hearing whether it has been in this lifetime or not. And if you've seen my readings, you'll know I don't know how I feel about past lives, but I am open to the idea. So if you're on the same boat as me, or I mean, whatever your perspective may be, I feel like there is a tinge to this energy of maybe feeling like you've met this person before, or feeling like you've known them forever, or feeling like they are just so familiar, and they always have been. It's not necessarily that they're so familiar because you've known this person your whole life, but they are familiar because it's intuition. It's you feel it. I think this connection has a lot to do with feeling, and maybe it has even been difficult to balance that with practicality and logic. For some of you, I get the sense that you may not be physically with this person. That may mean long distance. That may mean that you are not in a relationship with this person. For some of you, I get the sense that you may have not, I'm hearing, found the physical form of this person, which is quite interesting. But of course, only take that if it resonates. If it does, it will already make sense to you. But let's continue. We have egocentrism, and we have the cosmic egg. And this card I pulled to represent the energy of this person, and this card to represent what could have happened in this connection. And with egocentrism coming out as to what has happened, and when I talk about that, immediately I feel this weight in my chest and this heaviness, this pain, this need to almost just close my eyes and rest. And suddenly my body feels very heavy, like I'm being pulled downwards. So I think for a lot of you, this connection has been a journey, and I think this journey has not been easy at all, but maybe that makes this energy all the more valuable, because this union ties to all of the lessons that you've been learning, everything you've been practicing, everything you've been teaching each other. Whether you intended to teach each other something or not, I feel like both of you have been teachers to each other. And you may have very opposite perspectives on life. You may have started with very opposite views about existence, about how you see life, how you see relationships, your goals. And I'm hearing from the beginning you were always tied together. This is quite an intense energy, so if this is your reading, you will definitely know this. Maybe someone you are in separation right now, physically, but this is not someone you are in separation with emotionally. Even if you're taking a time out, even if you're on a break, even if you're experiencing some rough patches right now, I think this is someone that you circle back to, and they circle back to you. And I'm really drawn to the seas here. It's almost full circle, but it's not quite. And this cosmic egg card is tied to the spirit element in this deck. And again, this to me speaks about the inherently incredibly spiritual aspect of this connection. And it feels that way because both of you have been open to seeing it that way. Both of you have tried to stay open to connection, even if at times you've shut down out of fear. I think this is something that may feel a bit like opposites attract. And I think that is why this connection may have been very triggering in the long run. Because that gap in how you may experience things, process things, the not knowing part or not understanding each other part, that would have felt triggering. And then it feels like this is the type of connection where it has taken a lot of awareness, a lot of consistent effort to try to empathize with each other, to try to see things from each other's perspective and not just your own. And that doesn't mean either perspective is invalid or one is more valid than the other. It's more so seeing that it's all subjective. We walk through life looking at things from our own very personally customized lens. And that will not be the same. It will not be the same, the exact same as someone else's. But that doesn't stop us from connecting, and that doesn't block this connection. Even if at times it may have felt like that. But this feels very profound. It feels very special. Like you've seen each other in different seasons, each other in different colors. And you've seen the ups and the downs, the good and the bad. And you've stuck with each other. That's what it feels like. Like you've been growing together, even if you haven't necessarily been doing this literally hand in hand, but you've been walking paths that keep crossing or are just entwined. And I think you're very aware of that. I think a lot of you that choose this pile will be very intuitive and will be very perceptive as well. Very emotionally in tune. Also emotionally in tune with this person. And that could have even been some of the difficulties you had, because you could have picked up on their emotions and I'm hearing misinterpretation. Like you could have had a lot of miscommunications, misinterpretations of what you pick up from them. Because when you perceive something, it's then filtered through still your own lens, especially when it's so close to the heart, especially when it really matters to you on a personal level. And I feel like maybe at times that could have caused some misunderstandings or fear. And in a way, it's the same with this person, because I feel like a lot in this connection has come down to your different perspectives and trying to make sense of those and trying to still see each other as you really are, rather than as things you label each other to be. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of strength too, to keep yourself open, to stay open, to keep opening up, to have those honest conversations, even if it takes time, even if it takes time to get to that point where you can talk about things, where you can make sense of things, where you can see things more objectively, or at least try to see things more objectively. And by you, I don't mean just you, the viewer, but I mean you and this person. I mean both of you. I feel like this has been very mutual. And maybe where one of you was falling behind, where one of you felt like you couldn't do this, the other was willing to step in and pick it up and do the work. So I feel like it's a lot of cooperation here. A lot of we're in this together, even if at times our fears, our prejudices, preconceived notions about other people and the world around us, even if that sometimes makes us feel like we're alone in this. But I feel like this is time after time someone that has stuck by you, and you have been mirrors to each other. And the thing with mirrors is that they don't always show the most accurate image necessarily, but they show a resemblance of a version of us. Because if you go to a circus and you go into a house of like those mirror houses with funky mirrors, you're not going to see yourself as you truly appear. It will be a version of you, it's still you, but it's not entirely accurate. And I think maybe this is something that may have felt difficult in this connection, because you may have not always been reflecting to each other in the most accurate way, or at times you may have seen things in your own selves that you didn't necessarily like, which is okay. And it's not that I think either person here had bad intentions or wanted to hurt the other or minimize the other. But I think at times it may have felt like that. And that is the struggle of trying to get to know our own selves from within, while still using other people as, well, using is not the best word for this, but still having mirrors all around us. It's good to take that into account, that people are mirrors, that there are mirrors all around us, but I think at times both of you may have had the tendency to base your image entirely off of this one mirror, because this connection has felt so consuming, so overwhelming, because it runs so deep, and the deeper you dive, the more there is to discover, the more things there are that you may have not seen before. The deeper you go, the darker it may get. And it takes some time to figure out how to bring light down there. And I'm thinking of an ocean as I say this. Because I think this connection, it runs so deep. I just keep seeing this image of someone diving. But you're not diving alone, even if you're not diving in the exact same place. And I think that's why there is this profound energy coming through. This is someone that really cares about you and has really cared about you through it all, even if they have not always been able to express that, even if they are not able to express that to you right now. This is someone who has maybe felt smaller than they are their whole life, has maybe lived more on the surface, especially before they met you, but then it's like it started getting faster, it started getting deeper, things started getting more serious, more valuable. It's like they became more connected. Maybe you became more grounded and they became more connected to beyond what meets the eye. And it's difficult to put this connection into words, so I feel like I'm pausing a lot to try to bring it to you in the best way possible. But I suppose if you're in this energy, if you're in this connection, you are already very aware of these things intuitively, even if it's not the easiest thing to explain. The number 6, it's making me think of the 6 of Pentacles. And I feel like there has been a lot of give and take in this connection, even if at times it was not equal, even if at times it may have felt very taxing. And I think the beauty of this connection, and the reason I talk about it, is not to undermine any pain you may have experienced in this connection and the weight of it that you have carried. Because this is a connection where you have to do the work and you have to decide if you want to do the work. And we started the reading talking about this conjunction card, and I think that's the thing here, is that both of you have actively chosen to do the work. And maybe some of you have not gotten to this point of conjunction just yet, at least not physically. But it's almost like you've set course for this. This is the destination you chose actively, both of you, consciously. Accepting that you are two individuals, two wholes. You don't have to complete each other because one of you is missing something or one of you lacks something. But the point is to complement each other, to create something that's greater than both of you, to create something new together, and to not necessarily complete something. And with this cosmic egg energy coming out, I didn't even want to put it here. I first had it here, but I didn't notice. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but I think this is also significant in the sense that now this snake is looking at this conjunction energy, and it's also looking at this egocentrism energy where maybe they're considering past versions of themselves or this connection, and there is this energy of just looking at things from a higher perspective. Like this person has leveled up or has been leveling up. This connection has been leveling up. It's been deepening, but it's also, it's like it's expanding in all directions. That's what it feels like. Like you're diving deeper into the ocean, but you're also going out into space all at the same time. That's what it feels like with this energy and with this person. And if this is someone that you are at a distance with, a physical distance with, it could be that you will cross paths soon, or you intend to, or you hope to. But there is expansion. Like this is the last card in this deck. This is maybe the destination, but it's not the end. Because it's eternal. like the timing doesn't matter. It doesn't work that way. It's not about the practicalities. It's not about how much time you have. It's not about how many days. It's not about how often you do that. It's not about those things. It's about how it feels. And that's not to say other things in this connection don't matter. That's not to say you shouldn't see each other or anything, or you should just feel satisfied with everything. But I think both of you are in a place where you just see the significance of this connection and the impact it has had on your lives. And both of you seem to feel that this connection is not going to go away just because you're not maybe in a routine together, or maybe you're not exactly where you want to be together, or maybe you're not able to see each other that often. And there will be a time to deal with those things. For some of you, if you are experiencing like distance or a pause or a break with this person, but I feel like both of you will know when. And if you, it's just, I'm gonna get into the tarot now. I feel like I want to get into the feelings now and not get so tied up here. I think getting new cards will kind of move the energy forward, and maybe you have felt very entangled in this person and like you're just repeating the same things, the same cycles, feeling a bit stuck, or sometimes it moves too slowly and maybe sometimes it moves too fast. It changes too fast after not changing for a long time. So I feel like it's very consuming, this connection, and very difficult to kind of move forward at times, because the instinct is to linger and to analyze and to discuss and to figure things out, because you don't want to leave any stone unturned. But I think it's about that balance of, we don't want to spend forever turning all the stones in this particular place. It's good to maybe turn some stones to have peace of mind, but maybe there is more to see. I feel like it's that balance of practicality in the end, like practicality and spirituality and feelings, even though this is not the type of connection that is tied to time or a particular place, or you forget each other if you don't see each other. It's not that type of thing, but it's because we as people, as humans, are tied to practicalities. We still live on Earth. It's about maybe making that balance, finding a way to manifest this connection into the physical, where it works in a way that works for both of you. But let's get into the tarot and see how this person is currently feeling. I heard some of you needed confirmation, and we have the High Priestess coming out. Cancer energy could be significant. Hearing some of you needed confirmation that this person is still there. Take that as it resonates. Okay. For my pile ones, please. How does this person currently feel? We have the 10 of Pentacles. We have death. Scorpio energy could be significant. We have the 10 of Swords in reverse. The Wheel of Fortune. I rarely ever take this many cards, but I felt called to do it today. We have the Magician in reverse. I mean, I rarely take this many cards at the same time, but this just feels like it tells a story. And we have the Six of Wands in reverse. Practicality, something about manifesting success. This person's true vision of success in this connection that has been blocked by something. Maybe it has to do with finances. Maybe it has to do with your previous commitments. Maybe that has to do with where you've already invested. But there is something about this person feeling confused about which path to take. There is a bit of an energy of like, I know where all the paths lead anyway, but I don't know which one to take. And that seems to matter in this situation, which exact path they take, because they don't want to lose everything. And there is a part of them that is still worried, that is still confused, that is still scared. Because I think for a lot of you, it's not that maybe you're at this destination yet, but both of you are trying to get there or trying to see if you can get there. Because the destination in the end, it's not necessarily a physical place to be, but it's more that inner state. So for a lot of you, this could be a connection where you've had a lot of practical difficulties come up. Something about logistics. You don't know where to be. You don't know how to make it happen financially. You don't know you don't know where to build exactly. But I want to pull a few. We have the King of Cups. This person feels lucky to have known you, lucky to have met you. With this little wolf pin on this King of Cups, I feel that this person is a bit of a hermit in some ways, and someone that has maybe at times withheld love from themselves, maybe a bit too easily. And I think they've seen a lot of gentleness, a lot of compassion, a lot of love from you, a lot of generosity, and that's something this person feels very grateful for. It's something they appreciate a lot. It's something that makes them feel stronger. But they are a thinker. We have this Mercury energy coming through, and that is somehow the strongest influence that I feel here. Like, this person currently may be very much in their head and very confused about everything that is going on. I think there is something missing in communication here. Something they don't know about your side of things. Oh, and before I forget, we have Gemini and Virgo energy coming through with the Magician. And, well, we have all the signs here, literally, but fixed signs for the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. This person is missing you. They miss you. they've missed you since... Since what? Something happened. It doesn't have to be recent, but something seems to have happened that made you pull away, or that made you change. They feel it on an emotional level. They don't necessarily... It's not something you've necessarily been telling them about. And this doesn't have to be something that happened between the two of you necessarily. I think for a lot of you it will be. But something has changed you, and more so changed your approach to this person. The way you interact with this person, and what they miss is that interaction, is the way things were. And maybe there is a bit of a difficulty, a bit of resistance in transformation here, because they know things have to change. This is not the destination. You're not at the destination yet. That's what it feels like. Okay, another card onto the floor. The Five of Wands, yeah. The Five of Wands is a card of conflict. And I was just talking about how there is this resistance. They don't want to do the wrong thing. I feel like there is a lot of concern coming through about that. They don't want to do the wrong thing, and they don't want to spook you. For some of you, I just saw 3333 when I was glancing at the time. So that could be significant. And for some of you, this could be someone that you actively manifested into your life, or someone that you could feel coming into your life before they appeared there. I think this is going to be someone that you've gone through several cycles with, if not physically, then absolutely emotionally. Could have been on and off. It could have been you met them, nothing happened, you met them again, something happened, separated, something happened, separated again, something happened. And I feel like both of you have tried your best to be very honest with each other, and this person is very attracted to you. They are very drawn to you. I think they have very deep feelings for you. They really, really care about you, but they are not always able to show that. And I think that has a lot to do with their own relationship, with their own self as well. That's not perfect. That's not refined. That's maybe even a little bit on the rougher side of things. I think this person is very judgmental of their own self, and sometimes they project that onto people that are closest to them, because they feel so tied to you, so connected to you. And this is not to excuse any way in which they may have hurt you. It's not to excuse, it's not an excuse, but I think you already know that, or maybe a part of you knows that this person is also struggling, and maybe struggling even more with their own relationship, with their own self, than they are struggling in this connection. And sometimes the lines between that get blurred. Maybe at times they feel like they don't know where they end and this connection begins. And it's important to maintain our own independence, but that doesn't mean we can't connect, obviously. But it's about finding that balance of being our own selves, honoring our own selves, our own desires, our own path, and being in a connection, giving to someone, compromising when compromise is needed. Because that's what connection takes. And that doesn't mean it ever has to be perfect. It won't be perfect, but I think this conjunction energy is a lot about accepting that it will not be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. We have the Tower coming out in reverse. This person feels very careful right now. And maybe in the past they've been very careless and they've learned their lesson. This person feels wiser compared to maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, depending on the timeline of your connection. And it's almost like their growth has sped up within this connection. It's been something that accelerated the speed at which they were growing. Even if at times it has felt like you were going around in circles, if you change your perspective, you may see that you've just been going up a spiral staircase. You haven't been circling at the same level. You've been going up, but just sometimes you revisit the same wall. And I think this person is at a place where they're aware of that. They're aware of things moving, but that feels scary. They are scared. A part of them resists change. A part of them fears what may go wrong, but this person really cares about you and they feel quite bad about something they may have put you through. Like they haven't been there when you needed them. They didn't react well when you needed them. They've done something you didn't expect, and this would have been very triggering for you, and they would know that it was not okay. I think maybe at the time they didn't realize, they weren't fully in tune with what was happening almost. It feels like there is something that they perceive this way, something that happened too fast, or just in the wrong way. That's what it feels like. And I'm hearing now, like, I'm gonna close my window because I'm hearing someone outside for better focus, but also I think maybe that is confirmation that there may have been just too many voices here at some point. Maybe some people interfered in this connection. It could be family, it could be friends, it could just be tarot videos even. I'm not necessarily getting a third-party energy here, just to clarify, in case that is something that your mind goes to. But if that is the case, you would already know. But that's not necessarily something I'm picking up on. I do think this person is kind of battling their own battles right now, and this is part of their process of growing. This is part of their process of maturing. This is part of their journey of understanding their own self. They have to go through these challenges. They have to challenge themselves, and it's good that you've challenged them too, because look at all the numbers we have. Ignore this one, but we have 10. We have 10. We have death, which is the number 13, but it's the end of something old and the beginning of something new, which is the transition from 10 to 1. Then we have these 2 5s, and add them up and you get 10 again. We're also going to ignore this one. I don't have anything for that. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, also a 10. So I feel like you may be at a point where this person feels a chapter is ending, and they really feel hopeful for the next chapter, but they don't know what exactly it will bring. That's the thing. I feel like there is some confusion or lack of conversation around what will happen next. And this person, they're in a place where they feel very protective over you. They feel like they would fight other people for you if they have to. That's what it feels like. It's not that their heart is confused necessarily but their mind inherently, most of the time, is. And I think they have to often actively choose to stop overthinking, stop overanalyzing. For some of you, as a side note, this may be an energy that you resonate with. If that is the case, I would suggest choosing another pile to see if there is someone you need to hear about additionally outside of yourself. But this is not to say this is like about the viewer necessarily, but if it resonates with you in that way, that may be the case. So let's see if there is anything we've missed. I think this connection terrifies this person because it's so many unknowns, so many new places, so many new experiences suddenly. Yeah, terrified. We have the King of Wands in reverse, and maybe at times they have acted out of line, out of place, at the wrong time, too late or too soon. And they seem to have a better perspective over all of those, a better understanding of where they may have gone wrong. And they feel careful to not repeat those. But they also seem a bit grounded in place right now. We have the King of Pentacles, as I said, grounded in place. But I do think they are stepping up in their own way, especially by doing the emotional and mental work, or trying to at the very least. Because this person desires independence, desires happiness, and I think they're happy with simple things. They're not someone who necessarily strives for not like they're settling, but I feel like this person is someone that can see the beauty in the simple things and doesn't necessarily need more to make them happy. It's not something unattainable that they desire at all. Is there anything else that wants to come through? And I do think they feel responsible for this connection. I think at times they may feel responsible for your emotional well-being as well. Yeah, and that's confirmation. Again, bottom deck energy is the Ace of Cups, King of Pentacles, responsible for emotions. And that's not to say it is their responsibility, of course, and like no one else's, to ensure you're doing okay or anything along those lines. And what I mean by that is that obviously we are all responsible for our own emotional well-being, but that's not to say other people's actions or the things they say won't affect us emotionally and that people shouldn't take responsibility for that. I feel like at times, though, this person may feel like if you're upset about something outside of them, they may feel responsible to fix that, to find a practical solution for that. And maybe that at times causes blockages because they can't fix everything. They can't just do everything, and sometimes there is no practical or easy or logical fix to a situation. Sometimes you just have to feel the feelings and allow them to flow through you. Is there anything else that wants to come through? I feel like this person feels quite connected, quite tied to you. Like they've been through a lot and they don't want to go through more necessarily, like they don't want to go through more obstacles, more pain, but a part of them seems to understand that the journey ahead may have more obstacles, may have more twists and turns. But they are hoping to be on like calm and steady waters, I feel. And they don't want to give to situations that will cause more chaos, that will cause more disruption, that will cause more confusion. Is there anything else that... Oh, we have the World coming out, which I'm going to have to censor a little bit. They feel like you have not talked about everything. They feel like someone here is missing some part of the story. And it could be them, and it could be you, or it could just be their perception and no one is actually missing any part of the story. But there is just a sense that there are things that haven't really been talked about. Some things that maybe they've been too afraid to say, or that you've been too afraid to say, or either of you has been too afraid to bring up. And they are aware that that's like, it's weighing on them. That's what it feels like. Is there anything else that wants to come through? All right, this is where, oh, we do have something. We have the Five of Cups. And there is this sense of grief, this sense of sadness. For some of you, there could be something outside of this connection that has changed in someone's life that has caused grief as well. But I think for some of you that will resonate as maybe grieving a past version of this connection. And this is where I will take it to the extended. I will quickly talk about what we're looking at there, but you can also click on the link down below and you'll find an overview of what we're looking at. But we will start the extended with tons of channeled messages. Then we will look at what they really want from this connection and what they really want from you. Like ideally, what their ideal end goal of this situation is. Then we will look at what they actually expect will happen, and we will look at their intentions / actions, if any, are coming through. And we will finish off with some advice about this situation. If you're interested, the link will be down below. And yeah, I'll see you there in a little bit, or not. Either way is okay. I am sending you tons of love. Take care, and bye. Hello, my beautiful pile twos, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at how the person on your mind truly feels about you and everything that has or has not happened in this connection. There will also be an extended, but I will talk about that at the end of the reading. If you already want to take a look at what we're looking at there, you can find the link down below, and there will be a description at that link, as well as the actual extended readings. But anyway, let's get into this energy. First, we'll do a little energy check so you can decide if this is your group or if you want to try a different one. If you felt drawn to multiple ones, there may be connections between the piles, between the groups. I decided I'm not going to say pile anymore. I don't like it, but anyway, let's get into this energy. Let's see who this person that is coming through for you is. Starting off, we have the Drowned King. This is the first time I'm seeing this card. I have not used this deck very often, but I will say this is an impressive card. This is someone that is in the middle of transformation, but it's because they were pulled down. It's not because they actively chose to do so necessarily. They have been pushed down by the waves. They have been overwhelmed. They have been anchored down by in a way, their own self and their own behaviors, but this is someone who has maybe for some time felt like they were just going in circles. They were just repeating the same things, and maybe they weren't necessarily fully aware of it either. They may have been someone that felt a bit like they didn't have a very accurate representation of their own self, and they may have come across as someone who was not very self-aware, especially when it comes to how their behavior may affect other people and how they themselves may feel by being stuck in the same cycles and repeating the same experiences, maybe not with the same people necessarily, but consistently seeking familiar experiences that feel safe. But safe does not always mean we're in a good place. I mean, a jail cell may feel safe because you're behind bars and no one can get you there if you're just alone in solitary confinement, but that may not necessarily feel good. You're still locked up, you're still imprisoned. And I feel like this is someone who has maybe been locked up voluntarily. Like they locked themselves up in beneath a certain label. Like they are this type of person, or they will never change because they've always been this way, or their parents were also this way. Their life has always showed them the same things. And I think in a way that has to do with their beliefs, and their beliefs guiding them not necessarily in the right direction, but the direction in which they feel they deserve to go in. We have the Camel coming out, and we also have Psyche. And we have the word or the name Stella here. Always makes me think of Modern Family. Or Winx. I don't know if any of you watched it. I was obsessed with it. But anyway, Flora was my favorite. Anyway, this energy with Stella, Star, this person is in the middle of their healing journey, and it has not been easy for them. And they have not felt like they have the resources for this. They have not felt like they are built for this. But in fact, they are. And the thing is, camels, they don't need to drink water very often because they can retain it. And with this drowned king energy, it's like the water they're drowning in has always been within them. It has not been something outside of them. It has not been something external. So I do feel that this is, in a way, self-imposed. This feeling of being stuck, this feeling of being overwhelmed, this feeling of feeling like maybe they can't really do it, they can't really make it. But this person is someone that I think you will have cared a lot about, but someone that came across like maybe they weren't mature enough or they weren't ready. This is someone that would have run from this connection or sabotaged it in some way. And this could have felt very painful to you too. And I'm not explaining this to undermine any pain you may have felt. But I think this person the whole time was hurting too, even if that wasn't obvious, or even if it was, because I feel like for a lot of you, you would have perceived this person maybe quite well after some time, or maybe in hindsight, because I do feel for a lot of you, you may be in separation or some kind of difficult patch, maybe no contact. And for some of you, it feels like this person has been going about this journey forever. And maybe that is to say they have gone through similar situations their whole life. Or for some of you, it could be that you have known this person for a long time and they have just remained in the same place, in the same ideas, within the same patterns, and they've remained being held back by these. And this feels very self-imposed, even if they would attribute it to something outside of themselves. I think this is someone that has had difficulty taking responsibility for their own well-being first and foremost, but when they can't even take responsibility for their own well-being, I think it's very likely this person would have felt difficulty being responsible in this connection, being accountable in this connection. And the energy here, it feels very distant. So I think it's either that this person has pushed you away or they never let you in to begin with. There is a lot of resistance coming through. There is a lot of walls up around this person. This is a very avoidant energy, and it's very likely that they've left you without answers. They've left you without an explanation. And by left you, I don't necessarily mean walking away, but this person could have left the connection, or they could have said that they are not able to do this right now. But for a lot of you, I feel like this energy would have, in a way, felt like betrayal. A betrayal of maybe the promise that was made in the beginning, or a betrayal of the potential that this connection promised at first. I think this person is currently worried to get into their feelings a little bit more. Even though they are drowning in their feelings, I think they're having a lot of difficulty understanding their feelings. They just know it feels bad. It's like you're drowning, you're swallowing water, you're sinking. You're not going to be thinking about what exactly it is that you feel. You're going to be thinking, I need to get out. I need to save myself. I'm sinking. I'm drowning. I have to get out. So I feel like that's kind of where this person is at with their own emotional body. And I think this kind of looks like a sea urchin. I think it's not meant to be a sea urchin, but this looks a bit like a sea urchin to me. And they suck in the sense that if you step on one, you don't want to. So I feel a bit like this person is quite aware of all of the dangers around them, all of the things that they don't want. But overall, it feels like they just feel confused as to what they're supposed to be doing, because they've been pushed into this healing. It's caught up with them. They thought they were going to be able to just swim through it all, but the currents were too strong and they pulled them down. That's what it feels like. It was unexpected when it was a long time coming. If they swim in dangerous waters, eventually something's going to pull them down. That's what it feels like. It feels like they were postponing something that was inevitable. And maybe you even tried to talk to this person about it. Maybe you wanted to heal your relationship. Maybe you wanted to go have a real honest conversation. For some of you, this could be a friendship as well, or a family member, or a connection that never quite really took off or became what it was promised to be, because there is a very strong sense of coldness. Like, I feel like I'm surrounded by cold water. I'm hearing the song Silver Springs right now. Amazing song. And the lyrics may resonate with you in this situation. I feel like this is someone who is deep down quite insecure, but they don't want people to see that. They wouldn't have wanted you to see that, but I think you have seen that insecure, scared, fearful, terrified side of them. But it's like they don't want to talk about it. They never wanted to talk about it. And they didn't want to accept that they were scared when they were scared. They didn't want to accept that they were insecure when they felt insecure. They wanted to cover it up with whatever they could find, with whatever mask was closest. Because they wanted to not be viewed as something they see weak or small. I think this is someone who is scared to be perceived as small, to be perceived as weak. And I think that definition of weak or small is very personal, like on their end. Like maybe they think showing emotion or feeling hurt by something or someone is weakness. It's just being small. It's being like too sensitive. Even though this is someone with so much capacity to feel, it's like they have not really used it. But feelings, when you ignore them, they don't just go away. Instead, it accumulates until it drowns you. And I feel like that's what's happened with this person. It's like a dam that burst. And now this is someone who is on that journey that they never wanted to be on in the first place. They didn't want to be on this journey. They wanted to have it simpler. They wanted to have it easier. They wanted to have fun. And I feel like right now they're not having fun. It could be that you recently separated or had a big falling out with this person. But wherever they are now, they are not having a good time. They are just trying to sift through their feelings. And I think they do feel quite alone on this journey. I think they have, in a way, always felt alone, especially because they are someone that pushes people away consistently. Maybe they get very angry unexpectedly. Maybe they just hide things because they're afraid of people getting too close. Whatever means they may have used to make space for themselves, I feel like they, instead of like cultivating a safe space for their own self, it's like they imprisoned themselves. That's what it more so feels like they forced themselves to be in a particular box, in a particular place, because they were too afraid of going anywhere else or experiencing anything else. And I feel like they are at that point where this is changing, and it's either going to be incredible growth, or they're going to choose to not try to swim back up to the surface. I feel like that is the choice they are facing right now. And I think they are experiencing this quite intensely, and maybe that's why I have this kind of imagery that feels quite intense to me as well. I think this person is a lot more emotional than what they've painted themselves to be. And I think there is a lot this person hasn't told you, a lot they haven't shared, a lot that they will still, a lot that they've always hidden about themselves, and maybe even from their own self. I think there's a lot this person is afraid to see. They've always been too afraid to dive too deep, so now they've been forced down. That's what it feels like. Like there are lessons that they need to learn, realities they need to face, truths that need to come out. And it feels like it will not necessarily be by choice, or it has not necessarily been by choice, but they have been found out, or they will be found out. That's what it feels like. So maybe for some of you, this person was being secretive and you figured something out on your own, or you heard from another source, or you had intuition and you found a way to confirm it. It feels like there was missing information here. For some of you, there still might be. And it feels like this person would be someone to kind of resist giving too much away because that makes them feel unsafe. So let's get into how they are feeling right now about you and about everything that has happened. How does the person on Group 2's mind feel about Group 2, please? How does this person feel about Group 2? We have Justice. You have a good head on your shoulders. That's what they feel about you. You've been fair to them. Even if a part of them will have said you've been unfair, or you didn't do what they needed or what they wanted, I think there is a part of them that has acted out and maybe felt like a part of them that felt like they should blame you or protect themselves, so they blame you. So they put it on you, they put the responsibility on you. That's what it feels like. But they feel that wasn't right. They feel like, it feels like they've always felt how they acted wasn't right, but they were in a burst of being triggered and they just said things. They said things that maybe felt too sharp, that maybe stung, that maybe felt too harsh, that maybe sliced through this connection, that maybe cut you off. And this person feels shame. They feel shame for what they said, especially. They feel shame for what they were thinking or what they weren't thinking. This may refer to a particular situation, a particular thing that happened between the two of you. It may have to do with just not communicating something or saying the wrong thing or saying something they didn't mean. But for some of you, I think this has to do with this person maybe going behind your back in a way or doing something that felt like betrayal or stabbing you in the back. It's that type of energy. And we are tuning into how they feel, so their perception of things may not be entirely accurate or the same as how you perceive the situation. We have the Six of Wands in reverse. There is that shame again. They feel alone and kind of shut out in this situation especially, but not just. I think this is kind of an overall feeling of them losing confidence, losing peace. Ten of Swords in reverse. Feeling betrayed in a way too. This person, the most prominent feeling that is coming through is shame. Shame and difficulty accepting things as they currently are. How does this person feel, please? They feel like they failed. They feel like they failed. They feel small. They feel like they let their, it's like, I'm hearing, I let the worst of me win. And this person, I think there's two sides to them, in the sense of a side of them that wants to feel good, to connect with their own self, but there is also a side of them that feels very scared of this and is entirely unable to do so, or has entirely been unable to do so. So it's not that this is just like good or bad, but I think they are in a place where they feel on and off quite negative about themselves, but then maybe feel like, okay, maybe it wasn't that bad. Okay, maybe I can salvage myself. I think their focus right now is on their own self and their own path and maybe what they've done wrong, mostly, rather than the things they may have done right. We have the High Priestess in reverse. Cancer energy could be significant, or Cancer season, as well as Libra. We have Judgment in reverse. Yeah, they are being hard on themselves. I don't know if they are coming to all of the right conclusions or objective conclusions, because we have Judgment in reverse and the High Priestess in reverse, which to me is a bit more of an energy of a loss of direction, a loss of clarity. It's a lot of doubt. It's a lot of second guessing. I think they are second guessing themselves. I think they feel uncertain about the past. I think they feel uncertain about the future. I think they feel uncertain about how they showed up in this connection. And I think they feel uncertain about how they are perceived now. And that seems to be a big point of focus for them, how they are perceived. Can we clarify the Six of Wands in reverse, please? How does this person feel? We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. There is a big emphasis on how you may feel about them, and I think they are feeling very distant from you. I think this is distance that they have put between the two of you, but there is a sense of wanting, not even wanting, but there is a sense of needing distance on this person's end, needing space, but they feel like you are still very aware of them. They feel a bit observed by you, maybe, or found out, or they are in hiding, but you know where they're hiding. And I think there is a worry that comes with that. I think they feel very protective of themselves. And quite triggered as well. There may have been certain things you said, a confrontation that the two of you had, or a conversation you tried to have with them. Maybe they never responded, or responded properly, or responded honestly. But they feel, I think in a way they feel attacked. But I think that is because they feel triggered, because you may have pointed things out to this person that they didn't want to see about themselves. You may have made them confront parts of them that they weren't ready to see. They feel like the two of you wanted different things. But I think part of that ties to this person feeling like they can't really want things outside of this pattern that they're used to. And maybe that is connections that are on the more shallow side, or connections that are very, very, very non-committal. It could be connections that don't take responsibility. It could be connections that take that are more fleeting rather than grounded. But I think that's what this person is maybe more used to, and that doesn't mean they can't commit. My right ear is ringing in case that means something to someone. Okay, it's stopped now, so we can continue with the reading, but that was a bit disorienting. You may have heard something about this person that confused you, or vice versa. They may have heard something about you that has made them reconsider everything in this connection. Like maybe they heard you moved on, or they see you moving forward, or they think you're unaffected. Maybe you share a group of friends and they've given some news about you to this person. We have the Hanged Man. Yeah, a lot of what this person has said, I think, has not necessarily entirely been the full truth. I think it has been them escaping from how they really feel. If they said they don't care, I think it's not that this person didn't care. If they said they're just a cold person, they're not. This connection may have felt one-sided at times. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And we have the Eight of Cups. They feel it was necessary to walk away. They feel it was necessary to put this situation to rest, or to lay something to rest in this connection. Whether this was some kind of argument or the connection itself, but for a lot of you, I feel like it would have to do with the overall connection. That this person likely walked away or did something that they figured would put distance between the two of you, so they followed that path to have space for themselves. That doesn't necessarily mean they did this the right way, because for a lot of you, I feel like this person didn't entirely communicate what they wanted or what they truly needed, and they could only communicate in a very basic sense of like, go away or come here. That's what it feels like. It feels like it was missing a lot of nuance, like it was missing a lot of explanations, and maybe you've had to decipher what this person was feeling and thinking and experiencing, because they escaped from having this very honest and vulnerable conversation. You may have had honest conversations with this person, but I feel like they weren't fully showing up even then. It seems like there are things that they are too scared to share, even with their own self, that they know they need to work on, but they're afraid to acknowledge it. There is a lot that this person is afraid to see, afraid to acknowledge, afraid to accept. So I think the main feeling that comes through about this situation also is fear and shame. And I think they are in a place where they are emotionally unavailable right now, because they are so protective of their heart space and of their space in general. I think they are attracted to you in energy. But it feels like right now that is all that they would allow themselves to feel, because they are so emotionally disconnected from the external. I think they're also emotionally kind of confused, burdened, all over the place on the inside. But I think that confusion, that overwhelm, has made them unable to focus on anything on the outside. If you are going through a separation with this person, that could be part of the reason why they are so much in their feelings right now. But something here has come to an end. Either a cycle in this connection or the entire connection itself. And this is a time of grieving for this person. And a time to reconsider their actions. But instead, they want to, like, it's an energy of thinking, why can't I just leave all of that behind? I think in a way they feel haunted by what happened here because they feel like they failed. I'm not sure what it is exactly that they think they've failed at. But they feel shame around it. We have the Six of Cups in reverse, the past of this connection they feel shame about. There is this very judgmental voice in their own head, and it's judging their past. It's judging the past of this connection. It's judging their behavior. And it's telling them that they should be ashamed. We have the Lovers in reverse as the bottom deck energy, which makes me feel like if this person prematurely walked away out of fear, or they did something that really hurt you and then never really took responsibility for it, or even if they did, if they just didn't really show up in this connection, I feel like that is something that they are haunted by. They feel like they broke your heart. I see a face here, the eyes, the mouth, and hands, and almost like this pair of tongues, and it's not tongues, but like clipper things, and it's turning this heart upside down. That's what it feels like. They feel like they embody their shadow. We have the Two of Cups, not the Two, the Four of Cups. And I was looking at this kind of mushroom cloud type, like kind of like an explosion happened here. And we have the Tower as well, which is quite in theme with this energy of explosion, of things falling apart. I was just thinking about how much I love this deck because the images are kind of like more chaotic and not so, you know, perfect. But I have had people tell me, this is like this is like weird. This is a weird deck. Out of all the ones you have, like, I don't like this one. I don't know why this deck in particular has been so judged by the people around me, but I love this deck. I love this deck. Like, much love to the creator. This is the K-Love tarot deck, I believe. Let me get the box. No, actually, I'll just put it down somewhere, or yeah, I think it's the K-Love tarot. But I was just thinking about how it depends, like, how you look at it, right? If you look at it as chaos, as pain, as just bad, as just shadows, you make something else out of it. But if you can see the beauty in the chaos, if you can see the light in the chaos, if you can see the chaos from a different perspective, then you may actually get something out of it. And I feel like this person is at a crossroads of that, and so far I feel like they have just seen destruction and the shadows and the mess and the chaos, and they haven't really been able to see it as cracking open rather than cracking ground that's gonna destroy you. It's gonna break everything apart. So I feel like their mind is very cloudy, and that makes their feelings very cloudy. So the Two of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Wands in reverse. They feel quite triggered, and I think that makes them push this connection away. I just saw the Five of Pentacles in reverse, so I do think there is some sense of longing, or some sense of at least revisiting this situation from a safe distance that they've been doing. Is there anything else? We have the Wheel of Fortune. They feel like it can only get better from here. And they seem to feel that way about the connection too, that it can only get better from here and not worse. And maybe that is because they feel like what has happened has been destructive enough, has been painful enough that it could not potentially be worse. And that is not to say objectively, like, your situation is so bad. I'm not saying that. I think this person just has a more negative feeling about it right now, or a more negative outlook about it right now. But that's not to say that they have the most objective perspective. If anything, I think they are someone who is maybe a bit more negatively biased overall in their worldview. Is there anything else that needs to come through? Otherwise, we will be taking it to the extended. Anything else that needs to come through for my pile twos? For my group twos? Anything else? All right. So let me quickly tell you what we're looking at in the extended. We'll start with getting tons of channeled messages. Then we are going to look at what this person ideally wants from this connection and what they ideally want from you. And then we will supplement that with what they actually expect will happen, because sometimes desires may not match actual intentions and actions. So we will look at what they actually expect, and we'll do that by looking at their intentions with you in this situation and what they will actually do in the coming days, months, whatever it may be for your situation. We will hopefully figure it out. So I will see you there if you're meeting me there. If not, that is perfectly okay. I hope this reading was helpful to you. I am sending you tons of love. Take care and bye. Hello, my beautiful group threes, and welcome to your reading. Today we are looking at what the person on your mind is currently feeling about you and everything that has or has not happened yet in your connection. We will start by doing a little energy check so you can decide if this sounds like you, sounds like someone you know, sounds like you want to know, sounds like someone you want to know about, or not. And you can decide. So let's get into this energy, and there will also be an extended, but I will talk about that at the end of the reading. So starting off, we have the Benevolent Guide. We have the Contradiction, which is also the number 22. And we have the Crow. For a lot of you, this is going to be someone that is either new or a new version of themselves, a new version of the person you knew, a new version of the person, for some of you, that you assumed they were. For a lot of you, if this is someone new, I would say there is something either surprising about them, or something you didn't expect, or something you assumed about them that turned out to be wrong, or that maybe will turn out to be wrong. And I mean that not in a negative way, but it feels like a pleasant surprise. It's a bit like they are not what you expected them to be. And if this is someone from your past, it would be that they maybe at the time were not healed enough, were not mature enough maybe to pursue this connection, to show up for this connection, to communicate how they feel. So there seems to have been a mismatch between maybe what you hoped for and what the situation turned out to be. And if this is someone entirely new, then I think there is maybe on your mind a preconceived notion of what connections will be from now on. I just saw 222 the second I glanced at the time, so we also have 22 here. So this could be a connection that feels very deeply spiritual, that feels very deeply significant, that has a lot of synchronicity surrounding it. And it feels like there's just something unexpected. Either the timing or the person themselves, they weren't who you expected them to be, or they look a certain way, but on the inside, like, they have a certain style maybe. Like, I'm thinking of this classic example of, like, how motorbike gangs, like biker gangs, usually turn out to be the sweetest people ever, and people always assume they are going to be, like, very tough or mean or angry or something. So it could be a case of that as well, in the most literal sense, but I more so get this gentleness from this person that you would not expect, or you did not expect to feel maybe from another person, maybe based on your past experiences. The energy that is coming through is quite mature. And that could be something on its own that's unexpected. Maybe this person is quite young. Maybe they are younger than you. I heard kind of a cheeky sounding in spirit. So maybe younger in spirit, whatever that may mean. In this case. But this is someone who is not perfect. It's not that they weren't mature before and they are perfect now. Let's be real about that. But it's not that they are expected to be perfect either, or that they should be. But I do think this is someone that you are going to recognize in energy, because it's someone that has shown interest in you, or that you have a feeling, an inkling that they're interested in you. But I feel that they are not necessarily doing too much about it, because they don't want to do too much about it. There is a bit of an energy of this person holding back. So it could be someone that you're expecting to hear from, or hear from more often, but they communicate with you every now and then. It's not that they are playing games. I don't think it's that they expect to play games, or intend to play games, or want to, or I don't think they're strategizing even. I think they are just following their heart, and it's guiding them gently towards this situation, because they're also looking out for their own well-being while they pursue this connection, while they open up to this connection. And I think they are quite interested in you. I think they feel like you are very valuable to them. I think they find this potential here very meaningful. I think they feel like this is something that they could work towards. And I think this is a lot of intuition on their end, that they feel so drawn to you. They may have found you in at kind of a random time, at a time when you weren't ready, especially, or maybe you didn't think you were ready, and they just appeared out of nowhere. I could see this being a long distance situation with these winged beasts situation going on here. Some distance, some maybe flights away. But I could also see this person being someone that is, I'm hearing pilot now, suddenly, but they don't need to be a pilot, but I was more so thinking someone who has seen a whole bunch Whether this is physically and like just traveling, experiencing different cultures, or whether this is more situation based, that they've seen different aspects of life and experienced vastly different situations in their own life on their own journey. Very fast as well. They have a fast moving energy, but it feels like it's slowing down. Not in a negative way, but more so it's like slowly settling down. Like they've flown around, they've seen different types of flowers, they've seen different types of forests, they've seen different types of terrain, and now they're slowly moving into an energy where they want to settle and build something. And I think this more so starts as an independent, I want to build for myself, individual type of energy. And somewhere along the way, you seem to have crossed paths, or crossed paths again, maybe for some of you, if this is someone that you already knew or know. This person is very intuitive, and they are very emotionally in tune. That doesn't mean they never get afraid. That doesn't mean they are perfectly ready. But I think they are at a point where they freely feel very drawn to you. They feel very attracted to you. They feel inspired by you. They feel excited about you, but they're trying to not get too ahead of themselves. And I think that comes from a place of wanting to do things right and like feeling mature about the situation, even though there is a very strong inner child energy coming here. Like here, their inner child can come out and play. They can be playful with you. They can be lighthearted with you. You receive that kind of energy. And you bring a lot of light into the situation as well. Something about this feels very warm, like warm sunshine. Not uncomfortably hot, just warm and nice. And I get this, like, it's all jumbled up in my head. I get the concept of it, but I need a second to put it into words. It's like sun can really burn you if you're not careful. And maybe you've both been in situations in the past, but especially you, where it felt like the sun is finally out, and then you realize it's just way too hot, way too much sun, and it burns, it hurts. And then maybe since then you've been hiding in the shade a bit more, or feeling more hesitant to go out in the sun. But the energy that is coming through, it feels like the right amount of sun, like the good amount of sun when there is a light breeze, but it's just nice and warm on your skin, but not too hot, you're not sweating, it's just perfect. It's that kind of energy that is coming through. And I do think this person feels like there is a lot of potential here. But with this bee being like not colored in, I feel like this is a situation where a lot has not necessarily been figured out, and both of you are just kind of feeling it out instead and not really thinking about the practicalities yet. However, the practicalities are also a significant aspect of putting this situation together, if that is something that the two of you choose to do or the two of you will want to do. I do think this person is quite busy overall. They may have a lot of commitments in their life. They may have watched you from afar for some time and not said anything because the timing wasn't right. This would be someone that feels very drawn to you, very attracted to you, but also feels like there potentially could be obstacles along the way. This could be someone that comes from a very different background, a very different culture, and they may not know how to figure out all of those practicalities, or how to make sense of this situation, or where this situation would fit in their life. But they feel like you are very valuable. You are a rare precious find. You are a gem. I think this person, for some of you, comes from a very traditional background. They may not necessarily fully adhere to that traditional background, but I do think there is something either religious in their background or very traditional, maybe even a bit conservative. It's not necessarily them, but either where they grew up, where they're from, their family, their friends, where they worked, where they studied. But there is something about tradition coming through. And I think this in some ways does influence this person's perspectives. And they are a bit more rule-based. They are a bit more right and wrong based. Like they may have some strict judgments of what's right, what's wrong, how to do things, the correct methods of everything. They are a bit more structured in that sense, even though they have a very creative, very free spirit. It's also confined by practicalities at times, because they've been put in a cage before. So they are used to it. Like a bird in a cage, it's not where they belong, but they've been there too. That's what it feels like to me. And I think maybe that is one of the things that have made this person, especially in the past, more scared. Made them feel more unprepared. This person was not just born ready. They worked to get to this point. And I think for a lot of you, this feels like someone who has either found their calling or they're just very comfortable with the life they live, with maybe their career, with what they studied, or with maybe they already have kids and they're happy with the family that they have, but they are not with someone. If this person is in another relationship, you would already know if that is one of the practicalities of this issue. But I feel for a lot of you, this is also giving a bit like single parent type of energy. You or this person could be a single parent. But they feel excited. They feel hopeful. They feel curious. They feel childlike. Not in a way where it's like they are childish, but they are childlike. But they don't let everyone see that. But I do think they are quite playful. Even if they are seen as like very serious by other people or at first glance. They're very playful, very creative. They're very funny. That's what's coming through. They may have a particular sense of humor that you really connect with, that you really understand, but maybe not everyone does, and maybe that's why they think this person's serious. But let's get into how they are feeling, if this sounds like someone you know or someone you want to know about. You could have started out as friends as well for some of you. Like friends to lovers trope. Group 3, please. How is this person feeling about group 3? Oh, okay. The cards almost levitated for a second, because they briefly were held up by my leg and the desk, like at the same time, and they just like floop. So I feel like this kind of speaks about the very quick moving nature of this connection and kind of its shocking qualities. And it doesn't have to be quick moving as in you immediately meet and everything goes like crazy all at once, but it's more so the feelings. Like the attraction is instant. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like there was a build-up. It feels like there was something very quick, like lightning, and you were just falling before you know it. That's what it feels like. We have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the Ace of Swords. this person feels like they didn't value what they had when they had it. So maybe this is their outlook on life now based on their past experiences where they may have let opportunities get away, and this could very well be this connection itself, an opportunity that they let get away from them. And now they seem wiser. They seem to have a better understanding of, you have to move at some point, you have to do something at some point, because otherwise opportunities don't stay around forever. They don't wait for you to make up your mind forever, especially when they involve another person. I think this person, again, is very attracted to you. They're very attracted to this connection. To the point where it makes them feel a bit insecure. And I think they are otherwise a confident person. And they've worked hard to build that confidence, to build that sense of security. But when it comes to this connection, they are a bit like, they feel a bit like a child. Like they're suddenly completely inexperienced. They suddenly don't know what to say. They're afraid of saying the wrong things, even if they are normally very good at expressing themselves. When it comes to this connection, it's all just like jumbled up because they get too excited. That Page of Cups, look at this kind of innocent energy. Group 3, please. Group 3. We have the King of Wands in reverse. This is a very interesting depiction of the King of Wands because it's kind of like a Pentacles, because it's more earthy, it's growth, right? And when it's in the reverse, I mean, this is actually kind of growing and going downwards, but when it's in the reverse, it's upside down, right? And it feels a bit like this person, while they're normally rule-based, they feel that this is a situation that is unconventional, and it's going to take them breaking out of their rules, breaking out of what they have been doing so far. It's going to take something unconventional, something non-traditional, because this situation calls for it. Maybe because you are not traditional, you are not ordinary, you are not what they were used to or what they expected either. We have the Hierophant. I do think they feel committed to seeing this situation through, whatever that may bring. And they do feel hopeful, but I think they also feel like they should be realistic. But I think they do feel very intuitively drawn to you with the High Priestess and the Hierophant. They don't want this to be out in the open, though. That's what it feels like. They don't want other people to be involved. Maybe they feel like there are too many eyes watching. There are too many people giving an opinion for some of you, especially if you're tied to like a particular community, or your family is also involved in this, or there is family involved in some way in this. They value privacy. They feel like privacy is important in this situation. It's not that they want to hide you, but it's more so coming from a little bit of a possessiveness and protectiveness over the situation itself. For some of you, there may be a secretive aspect of this situation, like a workplace type thing where no one's allowed to date, but you're secretly dating. It could be something like that. There is a bit of an avoidance of, I heard, the law. I don't think this is illegal. Hopefully not. Stay safe. But it's more like something with, I don't know, it's making me think of a workplace the most. Or maybe like you're from very religious families and of different religions, and maybe that's the perceived law. Or maybe you're not allowed to get married where you are in the country you live in. It could be something along those lines as well. keep hearing you are seen, you are lovely, you are seen, you are lovely. I don't know if that's coming from spirit. I feel like I'm in a daze suddenly. I feel like this is like almost an interruption, but someone needs to hear you are very loved, you are seen, and you are very loved. That's all. That's all you need to know. You are very loved, you are seen, you are heard. You don't have to be afraid. I feel so peaceful, I could fall asleep. And I think this is the energy that is being sent to you. This is so cool. My fingers are like heavy. It's like I'm swimming in light. It's quite nice. I'm not high, I swear. Okay, back to the reading. But this is quite a wonderful energy, and maybe this is some encouragement if some of you have been feeling doubtful and scared. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse that I maybe can't show you actually because YouTube doesn't like nudity. Did I just show this to you? I'll have to censor it. I disagree with this policy personally. And objectification makes me angry, but that is for another day. Am I gonna have to seriously... I don't even know what is acceptable in YouTube terms at this point. I just know sometimes they limit my videos. And okay. There we go. Yep. Had to cover everything up on this card because there are depictions of nudity. Even though they are cartoons, sometimes that's not okay on YouTube. So I didn't realize as I was saying that the Queen of Cups was the card that was on my lap the whole time. It wasn't, I didn't flip it. It had just come out. And this, to me, is a bit about, like, intuitive doubt. It's a bit of emotional fear based on past experiences. Maybe you've been betrayed before. Maybe you've been with people that really didn't know your worth and didn't do right by you. And it's perfectly understandable to feel aware of that and to be worried. It's understandable. But the past is not necessarily a predictor of the future and of who this person is going to be. Also, if you have a past with this person, it is perfectly understandable that you may worry if things are going to turn out the same way. But I felt such direct encouragement. I feel like I should relay that to you in the best possible way. It feels like it's important for you to feel that encouragement, to understand, to listen. Can we clarify the Ace of Swords, please? How is this person feeling? Oh. We have the Seven of Pentacles. The Page of Cups. They definitely like you quite a lot. They are very fond of you. They feel so deeply connected to you. Ace of Wands and the Moon, this is an energetic connection. They feel like this connection is healing them. They feel like you balance each other. And this may all be happening entirely on an energetic level. But this person is in tune with themselves. They just maybe don't let it really show, because look at this Ace of Swords. There is nothing like very clear about this. It is black and white, but it's, you know, kind of wobbly. And I think this person is good at reading between the lines, and they are probably aware of a lot more than you may have you may think. And they, I think, are aware of a lot more than they let on. Especially if this situation has not been very openly discussed. I feel like this person is aware of its intensity. But again, maybe there is some kind of rule, or like other people outside of you that would not approve of this connection. It's not that they want to adhere to that, but they need a plan. I feel like this person is someone that feels like they feel their best when they're not just going about things recklessly. But you feel like this feels profound to this person. There's a lot of hope, a lot of inspiration here, a lot of daydreaming coming through. Someone that has, I feel like you're someone that has made them feel like maybe they don't have to do it all alone. Maybe they don't have to go about the ups and downs of everything all alone. Maybe they don't have to be journeying alone. I feel like they feel doubtful of the notions they may have had before, the beliefs they may have had before, because you're in front of them now, and maybe the previous rules don't apply anymore, or this person doesn't want the previous rules to apply anymore. The candles just went out. Something has ended. Maybe the past version of themselves that was fearful, or maybe a past version of this connection, if this is someone from the past, maybe stagnation. But they feel something. They don't know what. It's like, and by that I feel like they sense something, some movement, some kind of pull. I do feel there has been a lot of inaction in this connection though. Like, it has happened fast, but it all feels very energetic. It all feels very much feeling based and sensing based. It feels very intuition based rather than happening on a physical level, even though on an energetic level it is happening very fast. I'm quickly going to replace the candle because we need one. Did a bit of reorganizing, so in a second, but I know where they are now. Though I will say, maybe this also speaks about things shifting. Like being reorganized, the rules changing, something changing. And I think to this person this feels very promising, but they're also someone that doesn't want to be too unrealistic. But they feel very excited about you. Ooh. Did you see that? I put it down and I should have just lit it in here. It just went out. Because they know if they do it recklessly, it can go out as quickly as it started burning. Like it was lit up, you know? I have that song in my head. It's like Relight My Fire or something. It's like a disco song. And we also have a candle here and a candle there. They are very, like, they feel intrigued by you. They feel intrigued by this connection. We have death that fell to the ground. transformation, change, but intimacy as well. I think they feel quite an intimate connection to you, whether that has been explored or not, whether you've had a chance to explore it or not. They feel like you are good news. That's what I heard. Okay. This one, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, but they don't want to rush. They have like a checklist almost of when they can act, how they can act. We're gonna pull this one as well. The King of Cups in reverse, because they've been burned before. And maybe for some of you, because you've tried in this connection before. So they don't, like, there's someone that is aware of the past, whether that is a shared past or not, and they don't want that to cloud their judgment, but they feel like the past is an important teacher as well. Is there anything else that wants to come through? We have death again. Okay. Emphasis on this. Now we know. And I think on this note, this is all I have for you for the main reading, and I will take this to the extended, where we will be looking at, well, first we'll get tons of, I just saw 3333 as well, but we'll start by getting channeled messages from this person to see what they would say to you, if they could say anything at all and be fully honest. Then we will look at what it is they truly ideally want from this connection. No boundaries, no rules, no anything. What they truly want. And then we will compare that to what they will actually do, what they intend to do. And we will look at what they expect as the outcome of their actions and what they expect to happen based on what they intend. And we will finish off with some advice for you. If you're interested, the link is down below. If not, that is perfectly okay, and I hope this reading was helpful to you. I am sending you tons of love. Take care, and bye.